go ahead and get started. Welcome to the College Coaches webinar, Torn ACLs, Comeback Win, My Service Trip, and Other Topics to Avoid for the College Essay and Supplements. Next slide. Just wanted to, first of all, introduce ourselves. My name is Greg Schneider. A little bit about myself. I have been with the College Coaches for 2 years. Previously, I was department chair at McLean School in Potomac, department chair for English and Literature. I've worked for over 20 years in public and private education. And perhaps most interestingly for many people, I did work for a number of Cirque du Soleil. I founded a school, resident show division for 6 boys in one of their productions, The Beatles' Love. And that was a great experience. So I bring a background in theater and sports and English, and work mostly on college essays and college supplements. And I'll let Maddie introduce herself now.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Maddie Sparrow. I've been with the College Coaches for about 6 years. I graduated from Duke University, where I studied English education and earned my license to teach high school English. So my main role with the College Coaches is working over the summer, co-teaching the college essay and application summer classes and working with students individually on their essays and the common application. And then during the year, I teach high school. I've worked in Durham Public Schools and most recently at Ravenscroft School in Raleigh, North Carolina. Thank you for joining us tonight. So leaping in here, in terms of timeline on when to write the common application essay. If you are a senior or have a senior in high school, the best time to start is absolutely right now. Before fall academics get into full swing, before the fall play starts and extracurriculars start picking up, you really want to get the essay done and finished with so that you can focus on keeping your grades up during that senior fall semester. If you are a junior or you have a junior child, what is recommended is that you write the essay between your junior and senior years, so that summer between the 2 years. And again, similar reasoning behind that. You really want to get it out of the way before senior fall begins and before you need to focus on academics and extracurriculars and the rest of your life. But now is the time to get organized, get motivated, and get going.
Thank you, Maddie. Just a few words about also what to write and how to get going. The common misconception is that there is one essay that works for everyone. That's not true. You need to be unique. You need to show a side of yourself that's not in another part of the application. So you really need to write what you want to say in the style in which you want to say it. We always urge students to use their own voices. This is not an academic essay, and there's a little more freedom that you can take with this essay. And we're talking about the common app essay. We'll talk about supplements in the second half of the program. The essay is 650 words. It's about a page and a half, Times New Roman, 12-point font, double space. That's the English teacher and me talking. So it's really not that long. Once you get started, you'll find it goes pretty smoothly. We always recommend you show your essay to your college counselor and maybe one other person. The reason is that you don't want too many people giving you advice because you don't want it watered down with too many different voices. Your unique voice in the essay. So don't let others dilute that for you. One essay will work for most colleges. The majority of colleges are on the Common App, and that's the essay that you're going to write. That is the essay that goes to all of the colleges. The supplemental essays we'll talk about later can be more targeted toward individual schools. If you can use humor, that's great. If you're funny, and we'll let you know that, we think of ourselves as funny, so But really anything you can do to get the reps as they're reading to slow down and to pay a little bit more attention and a little bit of more time with you, that's golden. Next slide. A couple of tips for you. Please do not ever start, and you can follow this rule for the rest of your writing life, with a quotation or a definition. Abraham Lincoln once said, you're going to lose the rep right there. The definition of determination is you've just lost another rep. So find an interesting opening. I think the opening and the closing are the two most important parts of the essay. You never want to use profanity. And as you can see, that phrase, gosh darn it, is a heck of a lot more interesting than what we wrote originally. So there's always a way to play around with words without resorting to any sort of profanity. When starting brainstorming, and we'll give you some more tips in just a moment, it's best just to write quickly, write whatever comes to you. Don't worry about grammar, usage, mechanics. It's best just to get your ideas down. Something that we do with a lot of students, we call a talking draft. We'll send out a brainstorming questionnaire to students beforehand. They'll send it to us, and then we'll use that to talk with the students. If someone is working with me, I'll do the writing, so the student is getting their ideas out, not worrying again about any of the grammar of the writing, and then we'll review that, and they'll often be surprised about what they have said and the amount of detail. And that's a great starting point then for a first draft. You should always have sort of an overarching theme, and you want to connect that theme to what are your core values, what are your passions. Again, what is most important to you and what makes you who you are, what makes you unique.
So when you're thinking about choosing your topic, the first thing that you always want to keep in the back of your mind is that this essay is going to be kind of the face of your application. It's going to help humanize you to the reps and show them who you really are and what you really care about. So with that in mind, you don't want to write about something that you already mentioned in your application over and over. If, soccer is written all over your resume and then you write an essay about soccer, the reps really didn't gain anything new or valuable from that essay. So you want to think about, what is your thing? What is a talent or interest of yours? What do you truly care about? And with that, there are some topics that we really recommend you steer clear of at all costs. The first one is that classic big comeback sports win, or your torn ACL. And we've heard the stories over and over of, you had that sports injury and you demonstrated such great resilience and you're a town hero. And, that story has been told over and over again by every high schooler on the East Coast. So you want to make sure that you're writing a story that is unique to you and that couldn't be written by just anybody. The second topic you want to avoid is the 1-week community service program that you did over the summer, which opened your eyes to what poverty is truly like. Service can have a place in your application and can be a topic worthy of exploration, but it is inappropriate to write about a very quick excursion that you went on to another country where you took some pictures with some children and went on your merry way. So you want to avoid writing about those types of trips. The third topic you want to avoid is writing about another family member. So this is not the time to honor your grandmother or your uncle or anybody else. The reps your grandmother's probably lovely, but the reps really want to see who you are. And they're considering you for admission, not anybody else in your family. So the essay needs to be about you. And the final thing you want to avoid are controversial political or religious topics, simply because you do not know who's reading your essay and you don't want your chance of admissions to be hurt just because they fall one side or another. So these are the essay prompts for the 2022-2023 Common Application cycle, but they tend to stay the same from year to year. So these will most likely be applicable to you all with rising juniors. So I won't read them to you because I trust that you can read, but some things that I do want to highlight with them. The first one is about backgrounds and identities. So if you have a compelling background or an identity that you really connect with, that could be a place where you could write about that or explore that. Like for me, I'm Irish American and I've done Irish dancing all of my life, and that was a big part of my identity and my culture. So that's something that I could have written about. The second gives a chance to talk about obstacles you encounter and how you kind of come back from them. And with this one, you just want to be mindful of how you define failure and knowing that maybe not making the lacrosse team your sophomore year is not exactly a failure that you want to broadcast or consider a failure. Third one gives you a chance to reflect on a time when you questioned or challenged a belief or idea. The fourth asks you to reflect on something that someone has done for you. It's kind of about gratitude. And again, with this one, you want to make sure it's less about the person and what they did, but more about how you were affected and how it motivated you. The fifth, looking at an accomplishment, event, or realization that sparked a period of personal growth. 6, you get to talk about whatever you would like to talk about, a concept you find super engaging. And then 7 is super open-ended. You can share an essay on any topic of your choice. It can be to a different prompt or something you design on your own. But when it says it can be one you've already written, they are not saying, submit your Great Gatsby essay from last year. They don't want to see your analysis on the green light. They want to know an essay that's about you and you only.
Yeah, and I would just like to add also, thank you, Maddie, that the majority of essays that we work on fall under the last heading. And please don't worry too much about what heading or try to write the essay to the topic, because when you have the Common App, you can always just put number 7, and it's more important what you write than if you're writing in any one topic. But the topics can be great as part of that brainstorming to give you ideas about what to write about. This is another brainstorming sheet that we've used extensively. You can consider family traditions. Again, your role in those traditions, your role in that family, to always bring that essay back to you. Your accomplishments and your failures. Don't be worried about writing about a failure, because that can show great resilience. Again, just not the sports failures, but something that maybe that you've been able to bounce back from. And it doesn't have to be large. It can be something that was just important and is unique to you. If there's a defining moment in your life, for someone who's a junior or a senior, maybe you don't have a defining moment yet. You will have many of them. Again, it does not have to be an enormous event. It can be something small that just made an impact. And those are sometimes the most interesting essays. Again, a favorite thing to do, that's the passion question that will come up a lot. If you have a treasured possession, a lot of people use that as a jumping off point. If there's something that's very special to them, there's almost always a story, and a very personal story behind that object or whatever that possession is. If you had a day with no responsibilities at all, what would you do? Unless you're going to say sleep, I would say anything's fair game. You can always find something in that. Talk to your parents, talk to your friends, talk to other people about what they remember. That can spur something. It's also a great idea. This is something that I do a lot. I look back at my camera roll on my iPhone, and that can spur things, and you can remember different events that way. You can also think about future career plans, your favorite thing. If you haven't found your passion, don't worry about it. It took me, Maddie has found her passion pretty quickly. Kathleen, a lot of the other people that work at the College Coaches a long time to find our passion. And it may take you a little bit of time too. But think about that. If you've had an interesting job, or if there are other activities These are just ways to get you started, to get you thinking about ideas for your essay. All right, so I know you're all ready to start writing, or at least get your student to start writing, but we do want to talk a little bit more about something that's been neglected or is often neglected in the Common Application, and that's the supplemental essays. And depending on the colleges that you apply to, there could be any number of supplemental essays. All right, just some ways that the supplements are different from your essay and why they're so important. Supplemental essays vary widely in number and length. Certain colleges have anywhere from 0 to, I've seen schools with 6 or 8 different supplemental essays. They also vary widely in length. Some of them can be 150 characters, which is 150 individual letters, or they can be 400 words. But they really are as important as your main essay. And they're particularly important if you're applying to more competitive schools and smaller schools that they want to target and look at you as a person to see if you would be a good fit. And the supplemental essay is one place, where you can show that. So they're trying to gauge your depth of genuine interest in their particular school. So that's why you should always provide specific reasons as to why you would like to attend that school that you're writing the essay for.
So a few strategies to write these supplemental essays, because there can be a lot that kind of stack up on each other. But the good news is that some colleges are not super creative and they tend to reuse the same prompts as some of their peer institutions. So if one school asks, what sets your heart on fire, and another says, what are you passionate about? That's the same question, and you can give the same response to those. So it's a great idea to kind of get organized with your supplemental essays initially and writing out all the prompts so you can see, okay, I can use what's my passion response for X, Y, and Z. You want to be mindful of word limits and not don't force it, because they'll be able to tell if it's not genuine. And then if it's not answering the question, just don't use it. This is really the time where you want to bring in specifics and details that will grab the attention of the rep reading the supplement. Colleges really care about their yield, which is how many of their students who they send acceptance letters to actually join the campus, because that yield percentage affects their rankings, and people really pay attention to those rankings. So the supplement is a really important place for you to express genuine interest. And a great way to do that is through using standout details and being as specific as you possibly can, so as to set yourself apart from the rest of the crowd.
Okay, we're going to spend just a couple of moments with 2 of the questions that we see most often in various colleges. One is to tell the reps the areas of study that you're excited to explore and why you want to pursue them at their particular college and not someone else's. You always want to use as many specific details as you can. So please do some research. This is also part of demonstrated interest. Look at specific course names and professors, read about internships, the overall arc of the curriculum. But again, they don't want facts that they already know. They want to know how that would work for you. So you always want to connect it specifically back to your interests and how you would fit in their community, not only academically, but also socially. So think about what they have to give you, but what you have to give them as well. You don't want to already tell them about what they know about themselves. Definitely do your research as much as possible. But if you can go and visit in person, that's best, because then you can have a specific story to tell them so that you can show off your knowledge of their programs, of their campus, and of their student body. This is the big question that often trips up students, and that is, why our college? A lot of supplemental essays are focused on this. So again, be specific, but again, don't just repeat what's on the website. Don't just repeat what you've read. So if there are classes that really do speak to you, if there's something that you are interested in studying with, if there are traditions that the student body participates in, those are things you might mention. If the campus has recently had a speaker, someone that you love and someone that you would like to have heard, that might be a great way to bring something in that's not so general. So really, when you're doing your research, whether it's a online newspaper, the website, the official social media for the school, any detail that you can get, whether it's virtual or in person, that's the best, because then that gives you an insight that someone else is not going to present them as to why you want to study at their college. So again, with these questions, they're a little tricky because you always want to be specific, but you always want to talk about yourself just as you do in the main Common App essay.
Alrighty, so the Common App essay and the supplements can seem like a very daunting undertaking. So some resources that you can use and what we can offer you, using the brainstorming sheet, the talking draft method, and the college coaches, and us as your college counselors. We've got a great team of people with a wide breadth of experience. And we are smart and we are fantastic actors, and we model well.
And one of us is an Oscar winner. Although to give Maddie her due, I do believe Claire Danes has several Emmys, right?
I'm sure.
Yes. And I believe Miss Glenn Sparrow was once awarded a Peabody, although I'm not even sure why they award those. But anyway, so just a little bit more about the college coaches, and then we welcome you to stay and ask some questions. One thing that sets us apart is that we do not sell packages. We have hourly rates and fixed fees. We work on family meetings, meeting with parents and students to come up with a game plan. Ms. Glenn Sparrow has visited hundreds and hundreds of colleges, personally visited hundreds of colleges. She's great with college lists. She'll find the right fit for you. I work mostly on the college essay and supplements. I also help with Common App. Maddie is an excellent editor. She also works on the essays and the Common App. We work with interview practice. We take you from the beginning of the college application process to the end. Please check out our 5-star Google reviews. A lot of those have been written by students too, which I think is important. So you get something from them also. Each coach has 15 to 45 years of experience. I'm not going to tell you which one is 45 years of experience. That's a lot. Maddie is the youngest, and I am the second youngest in terms of experience, but obviously we are the award winners, so I don't know if number of years is that important.
Yeah, we're giving the presentation for a reason.
Yes. You can always sign up and schedule online, and you can always sign up with any of us for a free 15-minute introduction just to find out more information. And then please check out the website, thecollegecoaches.com. There's a lot of good information on there. There are interview tips, tips for visiting college campuses, and other resources that you can use that will help you in this college process. And we'd like to stay for a bit and answer any questions that anyone might have. And you can also put the questions in the chat if you wish.
Hi, I have a quick question. Can you share this deck with us? Was this recorded, or can we get this deck?
Yes, this will be posted on the website, and don't quote me on this, but I believe it'll be up tomorrow. So
Okay, great.
all this information will be available for you also to look at your leisure.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. And we're happy to answer any questions, whether it's about the main essays, supplemental essays, or anything else about the college process.
So I have a question about how do you go about choosing a person from your website, from the online?
Yeah, well, Maddie and I would say just choose us, but actually what you should do, there are short bios of all of us. So look at that and decide. Again, Ms. Glenn Sparrow, she really is a master. She's the founder of the company. And I think she truly is the best person for family meetings to give you an overview of the college application process. I would say Ms. Byers is excellent with the Common App. Others are also. I particularly enjoy working on the essays, the main essay and the supplemental essays, but we can wear many hats. So you can always set up an introductory call with any of us and then make a decision or flip a coin.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I'll read aloud questions in the chat. One says, for Common App essay opener, if not quotations or definitions, what are some good constructs or ways to grab attention? I'll give my response, and then Greg, if you'd like to chime in. I think one excellent way to start is in Medias Res. I'm teaching the Odyssey right now, but just kind of starting right in the middle of things, giving a sharp image or kind of opening in the middle of a scene, giving the reader something to visualize, I think is an excellent way to grab attention and bring the reader right into the moment immediately and not waste time and space trying to set anything up and really jumping to the meat of it.
Yeah, I would echo that. I would also, as you would with a short story, you don't have a lot of words, so just start in the middle of the story. That's a great way to start. You don't start with a quotation, but you can start with dialogue. That can be exciting. Start with short sentences, shorter paragraphs. You can play around a little bit more with the structure, the word choice, and the punctuation. And those are all attention-grabbing openings.
And the next one asking, some schools say that supplementals are optional. Is that actually true? And the answer is no. Anything that is optional is mandatory. And if you're reading it as optional and you don't do it, then you could be perceived as just not having gone the extra mile or taking that step and not demonstrating your genuine interest in the school. So optional is never accurate.
Optional is not optional, right? And we're not just saying that, we do hear that from reps all the time.